Conan is a child born in war and unfortunate circumstances, raised in a single-parent household after his mother dies in childbirth. Years later, he tries to prove himself to his father, competing amongst the older boys to show his worth. First to circle the hills and return with the egg unbroken, earns the right to fight with the warriors. Each boy has a tiny egg in his mouth.
Boy, what are you waiting for?
And so the challenge begins. Boys being boys, they all try their best to beat the daylights out of each other to eliminate competition. Conan continues ahead with the other boys, running straight into an ambush. He's surrounded by men who snarl like orcs. Being the heroic badass he is, he manages to fight all of them off, outright murdering them. He returns to his father covered in blood and carrying the heads of the men he killed. He spits out the egg he was carrying, showing his worth to his father. His father teaches him how to forge a blade, then teaches him how to fight, but tells Conan he's not ready.
You're not ready for this sword.
So Conan begins to practice alone. He's practicing alone in the woods when he hears the thundering of horses' hooves. A band of men ride to his village. Did I say band? I meant small army. They raise their defenses, preparing for the attack. The two forces clash and fighting ensues. Homes are burnt, people and horses are thrown around. Conan manages to fight his way back home, killing several enemy soldiers. His father is shot with an arrow and falls. Conan runs to him. The father's dragged inside the hut and is faced by Zim, the enemy. Zim says the other leaders have given him the broken pieces of the mask and have sworn allegiance to him, knowing that he will one day be a god. Conan's father replies that the clans will gather for vengeance, and god or no god, Zim will fall. Zim sighs and demands the missing piece of the mask.
Give it to me now.
Outside, Conan watches through a small gap, unable to help his father. His father tells him that he's not going to give the location of that missing piece of the mask, and that he prefers death. So Zim gives him a stabby stab, and the father falls to a knee. Conan, enraged, launches a surprise attack, chopping off the nose of one of the men. But being the child that he is, he's quickly overpowered and thrown across the room. His father begins to fight back, but being already injured, falls again. Conan's dragged to the center of the room to kneel beside his father, and Zim recognizes the boy as his father's son. Zim's incredibly weird daughter, who's some sort of clairvoyant, says she senses the mask piece is close and that she can find it. Stroking everything with her creepy nails, the weird daughter, named Marique, manages to find the last piece of the mask hidden in a box beneath the floorboards. Now they have what they want, but being the bad guys they are, they continue burning the rest of the place to the ground. Zim tells his daughter that they're halfway there, and soon that his beloved, her mother, will return.
Marique, we are halfway there.
He holds the mask up triumphantly and the men cheer, yay. The rest of the village burns to the ground. Inside, Conan's still trying to save his dad by holding the chain and stopping the lava from falling on him. His father tells him to let go of that chain. Conan refuses, so his father decides to end himself dramatically by pulling on the chain himself and letting the contents of the bucket fall on his head. Nasty way to go. Adult Conan, played by Jason Momoa, whatever he's called. Conan spends the next few years surviving until he's a mature man, all muscular and stuff. Seriously, dude, where's his shirt? He's a pirate now, sailing the seas and going on adventures. Conan and his new friend Artis attack a place by the sea and free some slaves, but not before a dramatic entrance. People run away from the falling boulders. Ah, not the watermelon and the oranges, come on. Conan and his friend Artis fight the slave traders. Then Conan cuts the rope bars, trapping some of the sexy women slaves. The freed slaves are now liberated, and after eyeing some of the beautiful women, seriously, they're not even subtle, Artis declares that they're sailing to Missantia. All of them drink and have fun. What's up with that background? Could be Game of Thrones. Conan and Artis have a manly arm wrestle, which Conan wins by cheating.
I'll win!
While the beautiful women crawl over them, literally. Conan looks up, becoming alert that he sees a man on a horse enter the party. But he's not here to have fun. Conan recognizes that man because of his lack of nose. Trouble's about to start. Conan makes a Judge Dredd face. Conan sees the man who's hiding from him. A prisoner, most likely, according to those shackles at least. Conan demands to know why they're looking for him. The man demands to be let go by Conan, who's arm wrestling with him. I don't think it's the best time for that. Not with this guy anyway. Conan starts a fight briefly before handing himself in to be arrested, along with that prisoner.
I am your prisoner.
Both men are taken to a quarry, where a bunch of other unfortunate souls are working their lives away. Conan's thrown into prison. While sitting there looking all menacing and stuff, Conan asks where the captain is, the guy with no nose. One of the guards tells Conan he's busy, before throwing scraps of food on the floor for other prisoners to fight over, and then laughing about it like a typical bad guy. Poor souls. Conan stands up and starts another fight, beating the ever-living daylights out of the unsuspecting guards. He finds that captain, and demands to know where's the man who killed his father, learning that his name is Zim, the guy with the creepy daughter who was collecting the mask pieces. The captain calls him a Shadow Lord. He tells Conan where he can find Zim.
A Shadow Lord.
Once he has the information he needs, Conan drags that captain outside for the slaves to kill, having forced them to swallow the key that would set them free. They proceed to gut him like a fish, and all around him, all heck breaks loose. As Conan's walking away looking all cool and stuff, the man he was imprisoned with follows him, introducing himself as Elishan and telling him that he can break any lock and get into anywhere. He tells Conan where he can find him before stopping, and the two part ways. Elsewhere in the Shapur Monastery, people are living their peaceful lives. We see Tamara being told her future by another within the monastery. Zim seeks this girl, as she's a pure-blooded descendant of the sorcerers of Acheron. Sacrificing her and using the blood from this girl would unleash that power of the mask. Conan seeks Zim, and Zim is seeking this girl. Zim attacks the peaceful monastery, breaking through the wall with a giant battering ram. The women of the monastery try to flee. People are horribly killed.
Ask no more questions and do as I say.
Tamara manages to escape in a carriage as the fighting continues all around her. This is where Conan finds her, on the road as she's making her escape. He uses a telescope to see the carriage clearer as he's standing at a distance, seeing on the side of the carriage the symbol of the mask. Thinking Zim might be there, he follows that carriage. Jumping on and breaking through the roof, he's surprised to see only a woman inside. One of the accompanying soldiers that are escorting the carriage is shot. Conan gets back on the horse and fights some more men. In the meantime, Zim's men have found her, and as they pursue her on horseback alongside her carriage, try to pull her from it. She manages to climb to the chariot in front of the carriage, unloading that carriage behind her and sending it flying dramatically through the air. Tamara manages to jump to the back of one of the horses, breaking away from the chariot and continuing to run. Conan and the bad guys close behind. Conan manages to fight off the others, claiming ownership over the woman. One of the men, Zim's men, asks him who he is. Conan tells him exactly who he is. All shocked, that man rides away, appearing to be the only survivor. Conan gets back on his horse and orders the woman to come with him. Straight up, he just calls her a woman. Didn't even bother to ask her name.
Woman, come here.
Back at the monastery, Zim's taken over, and people cower in fear. Creepy daughter witch Marique looks over the women, taking some of their blood to see if they're pure. None of them are. The old man's dragged out onto the steps and questioned by Zim. He says that none of the pure bloodlines remain. Zim, however, not buying it. Trigger warning for gore, by the way. Zim kills that man horribly. Elsewhere, Conan's in hot pursuit of the remaining living soldiers sent by Zim. He manages to grab him, pull him off his horse. That night, Conan's eating by the fire. On one side, we have Tamara tied up. On the other, the bad guy. Conan won't let Tamara go, knowing that Zim wants her, so he's keeping her. Now elsewhere, Zim and his strange daughter talk some more. Marique mentions how strange it is that their man hasn't returned yet. Zim replies that this man has never failed him.
It will not.
The next morning, Conan's asking Tamara again why Zim wants her. Tamara says she doesn't know, saying she's just a monk. She also believes that she's not the pure bloodline. Conan's prisoner speaks out, saying that she is of the bloodline. To spare his miserable life, the man tells Conan that he can take him to the place where he can meet Zim. And so, Conan goes along with his two prisoners. They find the army, and the prisoner offers to make a deal, saying that Zim will pay for the woman's weight in gold if he were to hand her over. He offers to deliver the message to his master.
Give your weight in gold for this woman.
And Conan agrees, only not in the way he expected. Instead, Conan, catapults him through the air. He lands inside the very room of Zim and Marique. They see the message inside his mouth. It has a time and a place to meet. Shapur Bay Outpost, midday. Zim goes to meet him there, finding Conan waiting for him. Behind him, Tamara tied to a post, or at least, she appears to be. Zim offers Conan the gold as a reward. Conan refuses. Zim asks what he wants. Conan replies. Zim throws the bag of coins on the floor, casually telling his daughter to kill him.
Kill him.
Marique uses her magic, and we see what is admittedly a pretty epic boss battle between Conan and a Sandman. Not just one, but several. A tricky enemy. I for one see no obvious video game weak spots. One of the Sandmen goes to Tamara, chasing her all over the place as she's running away and tries to defend herself. But they just keep coming. Now, the real challenge begins. Zim and Conan face off epically. Zim asking who he is and Conan revealing his identity. But some obvious cheating happens when Marique uses some potion, or poison, to help her father gain advantage. Conan begins to lose the fight. He manages to escape with Tamara, however, using an explosion as a distraction and legging it off a cliff, where his pirate friend Artis is waiting for him on the water. Back to safety now. Conan's resting, lamenting to his friend how he had him. Artis tells Conan that he may be the only man to have fought Zim and lived. Conan tells him that he's gonna go back to find him, saying that he must take Tamara somewhere safe, saying that she did save his life, and in doing so has gained the loyalty of both men.
She has mine as well.
Later, Tamara and Artis talk aboard the ship. Artis telling her a bit about his past, how most babies' first taste was of their mother's milk. His, Conan's, was of his mother's blood. Dark stuff. Later, the ship is ambushed while everyone's sleeping. Conan fights epically. So does Tamara, showing herself to be more than just a peaceful monk. Seriously, where'd she learn that? Conan and his men fight back their enemies and celebrate with a yeah! Shortly after this, Conan dumps Tamara in the care of Artis, leaving them both on the ship together, and go on to find Zim. They part ways, but Artis tells Tamara that there should be one last goodbye to him, and give him a map of the shoreline while she's at it. I see what you're doing. He tells her they set sail at dawn, telling her not to be late. Tamara meets with Conan again, who tells her that she should go back to the ship. Then she talks about the gods, asking if he ever wonders if their actions have some plan or purpose, or are they all just doomed to chaos and ruin. Conan replies that he just lives day by day and he's content. Then they kiss? Okay, let's skip the next scene. So, the next morning, Tamara whispers goodbye to him and heads back to the ship. Along the way, she's ambushed, calling out for Conan. Seriously, no one was watching her. By the time Conan's awake and dressed, she's already been taken to Kor Kalba, where Zim lives, I guess. She's thrown on the ground by Marique and Zim welcomes her, calling her the elusive one. Tamara says he's made a mistake and that she's not pure blood. Marique tastes that blood, confirming that she is the one they were looking for.
I am not the person you were looking for.
Meanwhile, Conan has reached Argalon, the city of thieves. Inside one of the buildings, lots of dancing's taking place. Here he finds Elishan, and it's time for him to repay that debt.
I owe this man my life.
Elishan's asking Conan why he wants to get in there, and Conan says it's for a woman. Then he says that she must really be pretty, and then he uses a key to open a secret door, and judging by the vines has not been visited in a long time. Inside, Tamara's wearing the gown Marique's mother wore on her wedding day. Marique tells Tamara how it flatters her. Tamara's then told by her that her body's a vessel, and the soul of Marique's mother will fill it. Tamara says that if that's the case, she'll welcome death. Zim tells her that her death will herald a new age of Ashran. He goes on to say that his wife will make him a god, and together they will cast all rivals into oceans of blood. Easy. We know you're the bad guy, but damn. Tamara says nothing, and Marie continues with her dialogue, talking about meeting Conan when he was a boy.
Did you know I met your barbarian when he was a boy?
Down in the dark tunnels, Elishan's begging Conan to reconsider this, but he's resolute. Elishan manages to open the last gate, but then is attacked by a water creature, something with tentacles. They break the surface of the water in what appears to be a dungeon of some sort. All around him, people are crying in their cages. Conan sees the jailkeeper, a monster of a man. Then another boss battle ensues, and we see those tentacles again, grabbing an unfortunate prisoner who was dropped in the water. Oh. There's a lot of tentacles. Elishan hides in one of the cells while Conan fights. Seriously though, this would be an epic video game. Not only does he have to fight tentacles, but the soldiers too. The men are defeated, but tentacles are still waving around. Conan fights against the jailer, all while trying to save Elishan from falling into the water, still trapped in his cage. Conan tries pulling on several chains to save him, as tentacles are drawing ever closer to Elishan. The jailer falls into the water, knocked back by a blow from Conan. His own creature eats him, and Conan rescues Elishan from the cage. The two flee from the room, heading further into this massive building, and when the two of them reach a balcony high up, they see Tamara being led away on a great circular piece of wood, holding her in place, ready to be sacrificed. They're taking her to the Skull Cave. Conan tells Elishan that his debt's paid. Conan going towards the cave, and Elishan stays behind. But for real, Cave's looking hella cool. He manages to reach him before the sacrifice begins. Marique says they'll use the barbarian's or Conan's sword to kill her. Tamara's blood is dripped on the mask and begins to pool in the center. The tentacles move, making the mask look so creepy. Zim puts it on his face, like a facehugger from Alien. Conan appears at that exact moment and begins murdering. We find ourselves in a strange position. After Tamara's circular device falls, though still holds her in place, we see Conan and Zim, and now we see the two fight epically as that cave begins to collapse around him. Conan manages to free Tamara and continues fighting with Zim as this great ring falls into the abyss below him. Tamara makes a run for it and is faced with Marique. She begins to fight her own boss battle. I feel like I'm playing this game right now. Marique catches Tamara, rolls on top and begins to strangle her. But Conan saves her and Marique's defeated, dying thanks to gravity and a pole, which goes through her body. The two manage to escape the falling rocks, but not before Conan meets Zim again, who tells him that he'll kill him with his own father's blade. You know, evil bad guy stuff. They fight some more, and Conan and Tamara flee a bit more, caught on a bridge now. That bridge breaks, causing Tamara to fall, held up only by a chain which she's holding onto. But she tells Conan to let her fall, unable to hold back the spirit of Marique's mother.
Drop me, Conan, please!
Zim makes a reference to the chain, how Conan's holding it now like he did with his father. All the while, Tamara begs him to let go. Zim goes off running his mouth, mocking Conan some more. Then Conan just breaks that bridge, causing Zim to fall to his death. Straight up pulls Tamara to safety. Conan wins that fight and rides away with his woman. Behind him, the cave collapses. Conan takes Tamara back to her birth home, and she thanks him.
Thank you for bringing me home.
He makes his way back to his ship, but not before making a stop at his old house, which has now been taken over by nature. He remembers his father, lifting his father's sword, now his sword, in the air triumphantly. Cut to credits, which go on for like 7 minutes. Seriously, a lot of people worked on this. Thanks for chilling with us, guys. This was Conan the Barbarian, and is described on Wikipedia as an American sword and sorcery film. Huh. Anyways, it's based on the novel of the same title, written by Robert E. Howard. This was an interpretation of the Conan myth and not relation to the other older films with Arnold. Conan's played by the fabulous Jason Momoa. I don't know. And Tamara's played by the wonderful Rachel Nichols. Oh, and apparently the narrator's Morgan Freeman. How about that? Thanks for chilling with us. Till next time.